Howdy, Cowboy Gamer here, and you're listening to the 8th episode of the Portable Gaming Podcast. I got a lot of good feedback from last week, so thank you. I'm glad that we tried a little something different, and it was kind of fun. It did go a little long. This week, however, it's back to just me. Nothing super special, just the standard information. So I'm probably going to go back to the original order, but it was enjoyable. I will see if I can do something similar, or see if I can get a couple more friends and do something in the future. So keep on paying attention to that, and I'll see if I can give you guys a heads up when a new special episode might be coming out. But since I don't have that much time today, I will try and go through this kind of quickly. I know it's kind of been a week and a half, so there's kind of a lot to cover, so bear with me as I go speed up on occasion. But what am I playing? As always, and I know it's getting a little boring for me, I apologize, but I'm still just playing the same 3 games. Sometimes when I'm playing, I go and play just a little bit of everything, and I've dabbled in a ton of stuff, and I work on trying to kind of finish a whole bunch of games all at the same time, or just a lot of little small games. But I'm still enjoying and wanting to play these, so even though I've put a bit of time into them and they're not technically finished in any means, I'm still doing it. So still playing Star Wars Commander on my Android. It's getting super boring. And I know you guys are like, why do you still keep playing it? But it's still just something that I know I'm getting close to the end, and I want to finish it just so I can tell you guys that, hey, I got to the end of this. Do not buy this game if you haven't already figured that out. Unless you're a huge Star Wars fan and you got tons of money, don't touch it. Nintendo's Pokemon Shuffle, still playing that. I got 103 hours into that so far. I'm really kind of enjoying these weekly competitions. This week they're not doing a competition. They've done so many back-to-back. I think they're giving everyone a week off. But almost every week on Monday you pop the update. It tells you there's some new stuff in the special screen. There's like, oh yeah, there's a competition at the end of the week. The top however many people all get this upgraded Pokemon, or it's usually a Mega Evolved Stone, or sometimes you get jewels, Mega Speed Ups, stuff like that. But the last couple of weeks I've been in the top 5,000 of people, and that's out of like the 100,000, 110,000 that participate in these. But yeah, last week I just got a Mega Evolved Stone for a Blaziken, so that made me kind of happy. Not the greatest evolution upgrade, like what it can do, but definitely it's always nice when you can add a new Pokemon to your 4-party spot, and one of them is always an upgrade. That's always a nice thing. And as always, still playing, considering I spent a whole special episode last week, Final Fantasy X. Still working on that. I'm up to just 55 hours, so it's not super a lot, but it's still a great game. It is Final Fantasy X. It's on so many consoles, some handhelds. You can play it almost anywhere, and it's just a great game. But yeah, I will state that I got borderline close to restarting the game. After our Final Fantasy X thing, I went a little farther and just fought some more guys, got towards the end where I'm like, okay, I gotta go fight Sin, and I was like, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna work on getting all the celestial weapons, all the Aeons, stuff like that. Well, I realized that some of the Aeons were blocked by the Dark Aeons, which was in the Japanese version of Final Fantasy X, and it's in all the HD versions. The problem is that these Dark Aeons are insane. You think of any other boss, and these are 10 times harder. So you really need to have everyone pretty much maxed out, their entire sphere grid. to beat these guys, and I'm not even close. I've got a couple people that are like 2.5 sphere grids of every one portion complete, but I was just like, okay, I forgot to do, what was it, in all the temples, when you get the islands, you do your whole puzzles, and the last part of the puzzle is the destruction sphere, and it's not required to finish the temple, but if you don't get it, you can't get Anima, which is one of your Aeons, and if you can't get Anima, then Yuna can't collect all the Aeons, which means she can't beat Belhigame, and if you don't do that, then she'll never give you Yuna's upgrade for her weapon, which is kind of insane, because you need that. And, I mean, without Yuna's, then all your Aeons can't break the damage limit, and it's a long, difficult process. So I was just like, man, I just need to restart and do this over and do it all right the first time. And to be honest, even with friends telling me, like, don't screw this up, I didn't even realize that not getting the destruction spheres was causing me a problem. But what I did is I checked off, and I went and I double-checked what 3 temples I needed to get. So I figured out which ones, and I went to the first one, and I ran into a Dark Aeon, and I was like, great, you can't really go first, they're always faster than you, you have to have first strike on a weapon. So, put first strike on a weapon, and my only hope was getting out Yojimbo. So, whoever has first strike, swap out with Yuna, Yuna summons Yojimbo, and Yojimbo casts Zamato. Which is a one-shot kill on anything, no matter what. And what I've been doing is there's a whole list of getting Yojimbo to Zamato every time. So I've been working on that, which is paying him 1,024 gil every time you have to pay him, and then he'll increase his attacks, and eventually he just always Zamatos. So I hadn't paid him that much, but I was like, I need to do this, so I went in, and I pay him the 1,024, just his upgrade, and then I got attacked. Luckily, didn't work, so got killed, restarted, blah blah. So I went in, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play, and I decided I have to beat this, I've got a ton, and there's a bunch of forums online saying if you pay him at least this much, it's almost a 100% chance that he just Zamatos. So I went in, and I was like, great, it's a Dark Aeon, here's pretty much all my gil. Just 250,000, just take it. Zamato, good. And he did, killed the Dark Aeon one shot, which I know is a little cheap way of doing it, but it was just to get me into that one temple. Got in there, got the destruction sphere, then found out where the other Dark Aeons and how to not get blocked out of the other temples, so I went and did those, and finally got all the destruction spheres, got me all the Aeons, just, and so I was super happy. I was like, great, I don't have to restart. I beat a Dark Aeon kind of the cheese way, but I haven't played all the others, and I finally got the upgrades, and I can finish off some of the awesome parts of the game. So I started working on getting the celestial weapons and then fully upgrading them, so that was great. Currently, I have Auron, Yuna, Kimahri, Rikku, and Lulu's celestial weapon and fully upgraded. So the only 2 I'm missing are Tidus and Wakka. Some people consider these 2 the hardest, because Tidus, you have to win the Chocobo race with 0 seconds on the clock, and everyone knows about the balloons and the birds to change the time, so that's possible. It just takes a long time, usually to do, and you just have to bear with it. After you've played it for multiple days, it gets a little boring. The other one is Wakka's Blitzball games, which takes obscene amounts of times because you have to make the teams, and you have to win all the championships eventually to get the Blitzball trophies and everything, and that's how you get Wakka's upgrade. Now, I haven't decided exactly which order. I'm thinking I might actually undo the norm and do the Blitzball games, just because I know I can do it if I put enough time in, but I think that's what I'm going to do. I just don't want to sit and do chokeball races. I think Tidus is just kind of the best one, I think, and I'd like to end with him if possible. The main character, he's you. I think that's where I'm going to end. But that's what I've been doing with what I'm playing. Next, for the gaming news, there's a lot because, like I said, it's been a week and a half and I'm a little behind. But some of it's kind of interesting. I really kind of was surprised, but Nintendo has announced that they will release some Nintendo Hot Wheels, but nobody knows if they are going to be coming to the United States anytime soon. So these are in other countries, but they're modeled for the 30th anniversary, and Nintendo said they're going to do a ton of stuff for this 30th anniversary for Mario, and they are. They're putting some good stuff in games. They're releasing other items that aren't games, but they're just like figures and just oddball things, and this is one of them. But they're modeled after a lot of the Mario 8-bit and 16-bit games. We got some Dr. Mario, Super Mario World, Super Mario Brothers, and there's a ton more. But these are kind of cool. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pre-ordering these and ordering from other countries to get them in. But we'll see how popular and how expensive these go in the next few months after their release. Good news for 3DS owners that like Amiibo. NFC reader for the old model of the 3DS is going to release October 2nd in the United States. I'm kind of happy, mostly because Cowgirl Gamer has an old 3DS and I have the new one, so hers doesn't have Amiibo support, but mine does. Mostly, I'm just curious with just how many people own old 3DSs and not new, how many of these they're going to need, and how many people are going to buy these. If everyone's really kind of Amiibo are just selling out like crazy, how many old school 3DS owners own or will need to own NFC readers to use it. Plus, Nintendo hasn't done that much with Amiibos on their 3DS. Smash Brothers, and I mean, it's games designed with the new 3DS mostly, but I'm wondering how many games are going to get back done after the NFC reader comes out and they're going to be like, oh, hey, we're adding Amiibo support for all these games. And as always, I want to see Pokemon Shuffle get Amiibo support. It's a free-to-play game that's been working out really well for Nintendo, and a lot of people own it, so it'd be nice if they started to put in some Amiibo support and maybe got it even more popular. We'll see. Now that they're going to be putting it on smartphone, you just never know. Nintendo was being sued by Quintal Research Group for using a patent that pretty much, this patent that they put in, it was very nondescript. It just kind of said some sort of clamshelly type thing with with controls on the bottom part and a screen on the top. So very nondescript, but they sued Nintendo for their DS and 3DS, and they're like, you copied us, this was our thing. I'm like, first off, that nondescript of a patent is fail. But the U.S. courts didn't think their argument and their suit was viable, so they just got rid of it, and they're like, no. If you want to make a patent, then be as descriptive as humanly possible. There's some merit to ambiguity a little bit in patents, just because it opens it up for more people that you could get money from if it's borderline, but you got to be more descriptive than what they had. So, Animal Crossing Amiibo cards will come in packs, and sadly, as America gets the good thing about this, but we're kind of materialistic, but American Amiibo packs will have twice as many cards as European packs. So it may, and this is kind of like collect them, so you open up a pack, you get some, but you're you're going to have to try and trade with friends to get the rest. But Europe doesn't get that many, so they'll have to buy more packs. There may be a lot of just opening packs, selling individuals online for people, and probably Europe's just going to buy a ton of cards since amiibos work anywhere, so they'll probably just buy complete sets on eBay once it's done, but we'll see. Elliot Quest, which is a old kind of 8-bitty kind of spiritual successor to Zelda 2, will be heading to 3DS in 2016, and we got a release date for Final Fantasy Explorers, which will arrive in North America on January 26th of next year, and then Europe on the 29th. So I'm kind of excited for that. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy, obviously, so we'll see if Explorers is a solid enough game that I'm going to enjoy that as well. On the Sony front, as hopefully you all know by now, but I didn't. I was kind of surprised, but 2 days ago on July 28th, the PSN summer sale started, so that's pretty much a bunch of items on sale, dirt cheap, for each kind of week, and then each week they swap it out, so it's just a couple weeks long, but definitely go check that out and see if there's anything you've been really interested in, and it's dirt cheap. One of the sadder things is Guacamelee is now dirt cheap if you have a PlayStation Plus account, and I already own it, played it and beat it and stuff, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, that's really dirt cheap now. I wish I would have known. But again, I just haven't been hardcore into Sony stuff for that long, so I'm just kind of learning all these sales and specials throughout the year. Iconoclast was revealed, not much information, trailer and everything on YouTube, but just no dates, nothing like that. Persona 4 Dancing All Night got a North American release for September 29th. As I stated earlier, Elliot Quest is a spiritual successor to Zelda 2, but it's also going to be coming out on the Vita in 2016, so that's another cool game that is going to be on both systems. Japan has a project called Play Dojin, which is releasing games along with it, but there's two for the Vita that matter. So there's Double Focus, which is coming out in sometime in 2015, and then I'm going to butcher this, but Touhou Sky Arena Matsuri Climax, which is already released on the PS4, but it's going to be sometime, or will release on the PS4 sometime in 2015, and then after that, it'll come on the Vita. So we'll see about that. I don't know when, but we're running out of time for 2015. Spider, Rite of the Shrouded Moon, hopefully will be coming out in 2017 for the Vita, but that's after it's going to be coming out for the PC and PS4 late 2016. This is kind of a dark Japanese turn-based RPG, so we'll see about that. Odin Sphere will release in Japan January 14th of next year. It is a remastered HD game. It came out on the PS2 back in 2007, so another remastered game, but it could be pretty good. Atlas Sophia, or Sophie, will release in Japan on September 25th. Exist Archive: The Other Side of the Sky was announced, and this is by Spike Chunsoft and Tri-Ace, and it's a RPG game, as well as, not by them, but the last game that I found out about is Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax Limited Edition, and that is got a release date for North America for October 6th. So that's all the news for the Vita and 3DS. Now, I've kind of switched up my last portion of my podcast about what games are coming out this week, and I've kind of combined it to new games that are out this week or partially last week, and games coming out, just because there's so much hidden information on what games are going to be coming out. A lot of the podcasts actually aren't doing this segment anymore, which is kind of sad to me, because I know it's just kind of a list of what's all coming out, but I like to all of a sudden hear a game that I wasn't expecting, or find out that, hey, there's a game I've been really wanting for a long time, and all of a sudden it is coming out. Plus, every once in a while, I mean, even with my knowledge, I'm missing games. I'm finding out, like, oh, this game's going to be coming out next week, and then, especially with how third parties are going with the Vita, next week comes along, the 2 games or 3 games I find out about come out, and then there's like 6 other games that all these third parties are just like, yeah, we're not going to announce it, but here's another game to the Vita. Same with some of the smaller stuff and the virtual console stuff on the 3DS. So I figured it'd just be, you're going to get some overlap over weeks, but I wanted to make sure and let you guys know of all the games, and this way I'll cover them a little better. So for the 3DS, new games out kind of last week and early this week, we have for the 3D Classic, Streets of Rage 2, that is $5.99. Dragon Fantasy, The Volumes of Wisteria, that's $10 pretty much. I Love My Cats is obscenely expensive for $25. Don't know enough about this game, but these cat and dog games are just extremely overpriced these days. Epic Word Search Collection is $8, and Fantasy Pirates is $1. And then coming out for August 11th, we have Paddington Adventure in London and Garfield Cat. Not too super amazing, but they're kind of kid-oriented, so that's kind of the way Nintendo does. Part of their stuff is just really kid-oriented lately, so we'll see about that. For the Vita, new games out, we had Blaze Blue, Chrono Phantasma Extended, Lost Dimension, which a lot of people are talking a lot about Lost Dimension. I'm kind of surprised. A bunch of podcasts are just going on about this game, on how much they're loving it. I'm debating looking into it, maybe watching some YouTube walkthroughs for part of it, see if it's something I really want to invest in, but with money being tight and all, I just might sit back and wait, and just really wait for Severed to come out, as who knows how long that is, but I might just wait for that, so we'll see. The Swindle and Velocibox, A Virus Named Tom, Hateful Boyfriend, and Squares were all games I've talked about in the past, but those all came out early last week and then this week, and a game came out yesterday, only in Japan, kind of a weird one, but Disaster Report 3. It was only digital, but it's you can play as a male or a female character. They just started a new life as college students, and there's a massive earthquake, and they're trapped underground, and they have to escape the central island alone, or if you set up ad hoc with the multiplayer with other Vitas in the same room, so not online, you can play up to 4 players. So kind of an interesting game, but kind of interesting sounding, but again, never the greatest graphics, but something interesting that I wouldn't mind seeing a US announcement date, so who knows. Also, games coming out for August 11th for the Vita, Actual Sunlight, and then one that everyone's probably super happy about, but Resident Evil Revelations 2 will be released on August 18th. With how many people love Resident Evils, I'm sure this one's going to sell pretty well. Not by me, of course. I've got enough to do with just the 3 games I'm playing, but who knows? It's Resident Evil. People love those games and eat them up. But that is it for me. I cut this entire episode pretty short this week. Didn't want to elaborate on too much just because the amount of stuff I was going to be talking about. I guess technically I could bring up next waves of Amiibo, but maybe next week I'll discuss maybe stuff like that, or maybe I'll get a little heavy on Amiibo discussion, as much as that gets talked to death as well. But I still collect them, and I'm still having fun. I mean, just picked up a few more that I didn't have through Target. They just popped up, and people started saying, hey, remember these exclusive and these special ones that were hard to find? Hey, Target Online's got them. Pick up yours now. And so I did. So I picked up a couple more. So the collection's always growing. I'm kind of hoping the 3DS is going to get a lot more games for me to use it on. But you guys enjoy your week. We'll see what I do for the next podcast. I might do the whole wait a week and a half just to even them out a little bit and get back onto the same schedule. I may do another short podcast and just get very little information. Just maybe record one later this week, Sunday or something. I haven't decided yet. We'll just kind of see what the news is, and if it's not even worth it to do a super small podcast, we'll find out. But for all of you that actually do keep an eye out and watch for when my next podcast is, it will be coming. I'm never forgetting you guys. I've always, whenever I'm done recording one podcast, I always open up document, start working on the next one. So it's always in there. It's always part of my mind. Whenever I see something new or interesting, I make a note of it. So I'm always working on it for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy the extra work I'm doing. Also, trying to work on getting an intro song or an ending song. We don't know exactly, but I found someone that might be interested in doing a song for me with kind of my kind of gaming feel to it. So we'll see about that. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks or podcasts, you'll get to hear that, and maybe we'll hear from some more of my friends.